Hi, I'm Jonathan with the Yukon Project. Today, we're going to do a deep dive on auto refinance. What does it mean to refinance an auto loan? Refinancing means replacing your current loan with a new one. The new loan pays off the old one, so you still only have one loan on your car. People refinance in order to lower their interest rate, lower their payment, pay off their debt faster, or to borrow additional money. Refinancing an auto loan can be a great way to build financial flexibility, improve your financial situation, and pay off your debt faster. What's the best process for going about refinancing your car? Well, there are three main steps. You want to do your research, you want to gather the right documents, and you want to find the right lender. In terms of the research, you got to understand what your goals are. Are you just trying to save money on interest? Are you trying to get out of debt faster? Are you trying to lower your payment? Or do you need a little extra cash? Once you know those things, you'll be able to assess the best options for you. Gathering the documents are really important. It's not a complicated process, but if you have everything in one place at one time, you'll be able to apply for the loans you need and you can expedite the whole process. And finally, finding the right lender. The beautiful thing is, you don't get penalized for applying for more than one lender and seeing who will give you the best deal. It's not going to hurt your credit, and it's also not the kind of thing where you have to take a loan once you apply for it. So shop around and get the best deal. The Yukon Project website has a widget where you can apply once and see how many lenders will give you a loan. I'll put the link in the description below. What documents do you need to refinance your car? There's a handful of documents and not very many, and most of them you probably have on hand. You're going to need a driver's license, a proof of insurance, a statement from your current auto loan, especially because what you need is your loan payoff amount. You need your vehicle registration, your social security number, vehicle identification number or VIN number, and a pay stub or proof of employment. With just those documents, you'll be able to apply for a refinancing loan. What credit score do I need in order to refinance my auto loan? It's not a very satisfying answer, but the reality is the higher the better, at least until you get to a 750. After you get about a 750, you're going to be able to get the best rates that any lender is going to offer. But the higher you can go, below that, the better off you are. You're likely to get a better rate. Now, if you're in the 600s, you might be able to get a refinance loan, but you're not likely to get the best rates. And if you're under 600, it might be really challenging and maybe really expensive to refinance your loan. The good news is there's no harm in applying because it's not going to hurt your credit just to apply with most companies, as long as they tell you that initially it's just a soft credit pull to see if you qualify. So regardless of what your credit score is, if you think you could get a better auto loan rate, you ought to apply and find out. What are the reasons why you might not qualify to refinance your auto loan? The most common reasons for not being approved for auto refinancing include you currently owe more than the car is worth. You are behind on any one of your debt payments. Your credit score doesn't meet the lender's requirements. The financing amount is too low and the lender doesn't think they will be able to make a profit on the loan. And your car no longer meets the lender's standards, which might include age or mileage. How soon can I refinance after I get my first loan? If you can find a better loan that's significantly cheaper, the sooner you refinance, the better. So there's no reason not to refinance as soon as you know you can get a better rate. So when is it worth it to refinance your auto loan? Well, there are several things you need to keep in mind when you're thinking about refinancing your auto loan. And the first one is time. If you have a lot of time left on your loan, then it makes a lot of sense to refinance now, especially if you can get a better interest rate, because you will save interest over a longer period of time. And that's the second reason, interest rate. If you can get a significantly better interest rate, that's when you want to refinance. You may need to do the extra math and find out whether or not you would save money in the long run. The next thing you might want to consider when you're thinking about refinancing an auto loan is your payment size. If you really need to drop your payment size to make your monthly budget work better, you may want to refinance in order to get yourself in a position where you are able to handle your finances in a much better way. The other thing to keep in mind is your total interest expense. You might be able to get a lower interest rate, but it pushes out the time of your loan. And when you calculate it out, you might find that you're going to end up paying more interest even though your interest rate is lower. So you want to make sure that you think about the total amount of money you're spending on interest. Then there's the flexibility trade-off. You may want to refinance if you can drop your payment size, even if you want to increase the amount you spend on your payment every month so that you pay it off faster. That means on the months that you have an emergency, you may be able to spend a little bit less on your car to cover that emergency. It gives you the flexibility. Finally, there's the cost of borrowing trade-off. If you need more money and you've looked at other options and the cheapest option is to refinance your auto loan and do it so that you can get cash back, that may be the most effective way to borrow a little extra money. When is refinancing an auto loan a bad idea? Well, if you're not going to get a better interest rate, it may not make a lot of sense for you to refinance. Also, if you refinance and it extends the length of your loan, you may choose to not do that. There are also times when the loan itself will outlast the useful life of the car. Another reason why you may not want to refinance your car loan is if your current loan is nearly paid off. Sometimes it's the best thing you can do is to just push through, finish it off, and get that loan off your books. Finally, if the new loan has fees like origination fees, that might eat into the potential savings of having a lower interest rate. Do the calculation and make sure that any additional fees aren't going to cause you additional problems. What are the advantages to refinancing an auto loan? The top reason to refinance is to get a lower interest rate. And if you get a lower interest rate and you keep paying the same payment that you normally are used to, you will pay less interest over time. If you are able to get a lower interest rate and yet you make the same payments you have in the past and you don't extend out the length of your loan, you will pay off your debts sooner. The other advantage to refinancing an auto loan is that you can make your monthly payment more manageable. By dropping the monthly payment, that gives you the ability to put more money in your pocket or put more towards the principal. When you lower that monthly payment, it gives you more flexibility when it comes to your month-to-month finances. And the last advantage that you can get out of refinancing an auto loan is if you want a cash back option, it may be a cheaper way to borrow in an emergency. What are the disadvantages to refinancing an auto loan? Well, there are 5 primary disadvantages to refinancing an auto loan. And the first is it could hurt your credit score. Now, there's 2 ways that it could hurt your credit score. The first is that refinancing will mean that there's a hard credit pull on your report. And that might affect your score 10 to 15 points for 2 or 3 months. But the second way is it could dramatically decrease the average age of your accounts. The second reason is that you might end up paying additional fees. If going with the new loan means an origination fee, you might end up paying more for it. You also need to be really careful that the new loan doesn't extend out the length of your loan. You don't want to be in debt longer than you have to be. And if you get a cash back option, it might increase your overall debt load. And if you do either of those things, you might end up owing more than your car is worth. If you want to learn more about auto loan refinancing, head over to the Yukon Project website, where you can find a lot of great information, as well as a marketplace where you can see if you qualify with a lot of lenders all at once. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to hit like and subscribe.